everyone. How are you doing? Good to see you Sunday morning. That means it's not your normal Sunday morning. I am who I am. And my co-host and other partner, Mr. Doherty, Jeff Doherty, he's not feeling well. So send him all of your healing energy and let's get him better, get him back into the saddle, so to speak. So, how is everybody doing? Good to see everyone. Blazing River, how are you? Yeah, hit the like button. And, at the same time, if you're not a subscriber to Jeff's channel, go over and consider subscribing. He's getting close to 30,000 and we can help push him over that. Last week, for many of you who may not know this, the YouTube purge took place. And for some channels, it hurt really hard. So the deal is YouTube got this new algorithm. And so when you see how many subscribers are down there on the toolbar, I guess this algorithm is like an audit bot, and it goes in and I guess audits every one of the subscribers. And so apparently those who, I guess, got abducted, maybe died, maybe just left, maybe said they'd had enough with the machine and walked away. But anyway, yeah, so some channels lost tens of thousands of subscribers. I didn't lose that many, a couple hundred. So anyway, Jeff, my friend, we love you, dude. Get yourself better. It kind of brings to home, folks, these bodies, as amazing pieces of engineering they are, and the fact that our spirits animate them. Going back to the Sumerian records, if you look at the story, they made many different versions of the Adam, and the ones that I can recall very quickly, I got that memory thing, but anyway, one kept on urinating on itself. Another one would simply walk to a wall and keep on trying to walk through the wall. So they had many versions that it's called the creation chamber. And this is what Enki and his mother were up to in the lab. And the first female was very interesting due to the subject matter. Hello, Warrior Queen. Hello. By the way, I just want to say hello to everybody. Thank you to all the moderators. Mother of Dragons, good morning. Skies above, hello. Donna, good to see you. Jen, let's see. Keith, boy, that's going by quick. How should I do that? I remember that Cheek and Chong episode. I took the Evelyn Wood speed reading class. Hello, Sarah. How are you doing? Yeah, so hello, everybody. But getting back to one of the stories of us. So the first Eve was nothing more than a sexual object. That's all it was for the Anunnaki, Elohim, however you want to describe it. Anyway, so when they got to the version that is of us, it's very interesting to read how that came about. Yeah, pretty weird. And you should read all the stories. If you haven't read, by the way, I just so happen to have right here next to me, stacked about a mile high. So the bronze books, yeah, this is you want to read some interesting stories about creation. They have a number of them here in the Book of Gleaning. And it's It's interesting. There's not just one book out there. In the book of creation, there are many accounts of how man came about. So the garden story, folks, it gets down to this for me. This is how I rationalize this, because I give it a lot of thought. A lot of thought. Until someone can explain to me how the first genius of our species came about, then I got a problem. Which version of us? Cro-Magnon man was highly intelligent, much more than what the Judean Christian dominated thought that permeated all history books, all the way up to, I would say, until probably the 1980s, when they finally got sense in their head and couldn't realize you can't deny the geological record. Anthropologists have the record. And it's a conundrum for all religions because it screws up the whole origin story. And no matter what your take on it is, whatever your level of knowledge is, and however you have formed your conclusions, mine are fluid. I have found when you start looking for absolutes, you're going to be absolutely confounded. I'm just going to tell you right now, there are no absolutes, and only a fool pursues absolutes. And that even comes down to where deity is concerned. So how did we get started? Now, I always want to know, so if we have sinned, and how many sermons are being preached this morning on you wretched sinners, that you can never reach God or approach God on your own. You need an intermediary in order to do that. My question, Mr. Preacher Man, would be this: which version? Neanderthals. You think that there's somehow these cave dwelling, mutant type thing? No, highly intelligent. They understood agriculture, architecture. They understood astronomy. They understood much, much more than what we think they did. We killed them. Sapiens. We are the invaders. What a perfect morning for tea, is it not? Ever gone out? Take a look at Venus. Fantastic. And if you know where the Pleiades are, look right to, I believe would be the southeast of the Pleiades. We have 3 comets that are in our solar system right now. Most of them require a telescope, but check it out. Yeah, I know that was a little digression from where I was at, but the point comes back to, how could we have sinned when we don't even know where we came from? Yeah, that's weird, isn't it? So let's see what's going on here. I'm doing this Bigfoot smarter than him. Melmac, I think you may be right. I think that, does Bigfoot exist? I don't know. There seem to have a lot of sculptory evidence that would imply as such. Again, go and look at the wall of humanity down at Pumapunka. Explain me those cousins, because I don't know, cousin. It really is beyond me. So here we are, folks, right in the peak of the, oh man, how do you say this? We worship many different gods. Many of us worship gods that we're not even cognitive of. Odd, but there is some philosophy that brings into account that spiritualness, sentient intelligence exists everywhere, that a true creator never stops creating, and a true creator would never be wasteful. Never. So that would imply directly that every space is filled with something. Just because we can't see it, just because we can't measure it, just because we can't taste it, feel it, or identify it, doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. Obviously, it does. I mean, if you study quantum physics, what it says is that between this piece of paper and my thumb and my index finger, that on a quantum basis, I'm dealing with all molecules. It's just the amount of energy, how they're structured, how they're placed, and how basically I call it the cohesion factor takes place that allows me to hold this molecule in my hand. And it says that alchemy, by the way, the true master magicians know how to separate those elements, those molecules. I'm reading a book right now, really cool one. It's called the 3 Books of Occult Philosophy. Very interesting. This world that we live around, it's saturated, folks. Just saturated. So, getting back to the season. If I was to take a quick poll here, how many of you are fed up with, because I'm not going to say sick. There's a lot of sickness going around. So, but let's use words properly. Fed up. How bad? Had enough of the materialism. I mean, this is nuts. It's like watching ants run from a magnifying glass. Now, how that happens, I don't know. I saw a YouTube video. I mean, and what about these porch pirates? We got modern day pirates? What? That's what they're called, and apparently many people are proud of it. Porch pirates. Well, there you go. It is the season. I mean, hello, Peter. How are you doing? Good to see you, my friend. Rich, Planetary Protector, good to see you. I mean, I'm reading these stories and I'm going, what? So that's a really low vibration individual. I mean, if your existence is predicated upon a holiday that you have to steal from others and then sit there and go, well, what did the Johnsons buy us? I don't know. I mean, where are you at? But it happens. It's everywhere. And it goes to say that this God called materialism, that folks, we're saturated in it. I mean, we're like a pigskin being fried and that fried fat becoming, pork rinds. Baby, it's saturating all through us. This materialism thing. It's nuts. You can't even get, if you're fortunate to have streaming services that are non-commercials, you can escape it. But other than that, living in quiet, which I highly recommend, it's amazing what you can learn when it's all quiet. Again, I question the fact that when we pass over, how do we hear? Does thought have sound? Does thought have vibration? I don't know. I digress, but it's just one of those questions I ask myself because, yeah, it's nuts. And how we get this season, and it shows you, I think, just my wife and I were having this conversation yesterday. So you heard the story about the meteorologist, and maybe you hadn't. She was a news meteorologist and committed suicide just out of the blue. Well, come to find out, it's not so much out of the blue. She apparently had some sort of eye procedure done. I don't know specifically what, but oddly enough, they have found other people who've had the same type of procedure have also committed suicide. And it got me to thinking about something. We approach the eyes merely by the factor that we can see spectrums of light. We can interpret those spectrums of light into electrical signals that these remarkable objects do, and then the incredible, miraculous thing called the brain takes over, and we see the image. So walk with me on this. Let's walk a little bit here. If you're cold, put on a coat, but let's walk and we'll talk about this one. I wonder if the eyes, only because we haven't been trained, only because we haven't been made aware of, have the ability to see more than just the physical realm. Would you agree that many of us have had encounters into the spiritual realm, had the ability to see into the spiritual realm, had the ability to be conscious and perceive that secondary realm? I wonder, and just hear me out, that if you begin to do alterations to the eye, and I'm leading somewhere on this, I wonder if you could then alter maybe that protective barrier that allows us to be sane without seeing all the other life forms around us. And what if along that way, there's a procedure you get done to your eye, and all of a sudden, your eye is perceiving more than just the physical light realm. And by the way, the light realm that I call light is only a sliver, about 3% of what real light is. I don't know. It is a thought, is it not? And now they're talking about putting bionic eyes into humans. Wow. Hey, Gary, good point. Change your point of view. Yeah, imagine that. And I was just thinking that what if on certain bodies, we all say our bodies are alike, but yet there's a certain uniqueness to all of us. And I wonder if there are certain amongst us that you alter something like an eye, which is considered to be today a very normal procedure, that suddenly you're getting X-ray vision, so to speak. I think it's very well possible. Just saying. I mean, we're learning so much, folks. This is not your normal Sunday morning show. I'm Wayne Steiger, and my co-host Jeff Doherty is getting better. He's been on the road for the last 3 weeks, had quite the adventure, And, you know, it doesn't take much with the stuff that's going around there, folks out there. It's crazy. How about the fact of this virus they can identify from the CDC that is paralyzing children, polio-like symptoms? Now, I am old enough to remember the late 50s, early 60s when the polio and vaccination began nationwide. I remember standing with my grandmother on a Saturday I was in the first grade, I believe, into elementary school, waiting to get the sugar cube. Yeah. So think about it. Are we seeing a new mutant viral pathogen? It's apparently striking everywhere, and we've got no answers for it. Weird, isn't it? And then when you think about that, you've got these new strains of diseases that no antibiotics. Yeah. Weird, isn't it? Ay, ay, ay. I remember that cube. There we go. By the way, I know I put it here, but I just want to invoke favor upon everyone. Listen, folks, I just invoke favor in your life today, that it grace you abundantly, that there be nothing missing, nothing broken found in your life. Yeah, we can use that. You need as much protection as you can get, folks. Knowledge is the first defense. And then we can go from there because, you know, they're screwing with us out there. They really are. They're messing with us. And it's not just conspiracy thought anymore. In the last 10 days, enough documents have been released by the CIA that we now know they used the American public to be the guinea pig. Still are. And, you know, I did the story on the fact that now what Big Pharma is doing is growing human organs, in some case, miniature organs. And the ones they've done with the brains, they think. Makes me think, could we exist? Hear me out on this. So they're making artificial brains, lungs, organs, and all in the name of medical science, you know, keep you and I alive longer. I keep saying no drug you take is designed to cure you. It's just designed to make you a customer. Love the shirt. Thank you, Patrick. So hear me out on this. So if they can get a brain that they can grow in a lab, right? And that brain can begin to think. Now, I don't know what that's defined as. What is it, having a cigarette and a cocktail deciding on the quantum physics of the universe? I don't know. You know, is it sitting there in a yoga position, you know, doing the meditation? I don't know. We know that it thinks. Okay, so let's just define thinking as thinking, right? So it got me to thinking. So if they were to take, let's say, a sample of your brain, the gray matter, literally, and were able to replicate it, I wonder how many mini-me's would there be there? I was just thinking about that. Isn't that what cloning is? I wonder if that's what God is. Is God a clone? I don't know. Look at that. If you have artificial lungs, you can be banned from sports. There you go. we live in this world where I think the fabric of the barriers of reality are fraying. Because when I look out there in the real world, we are a wonderful group. We are a community. I like I said, I visit a lot of you folks, and normally Jeff and I would be bantering about in something, but the community is growing. And it's a sanctuary. It's a place to be able to take a sabbatical from the material world. Isn't that what Sting says? And again, I went this whole circuitous route, getting back to we're just inundated. It's true. Materialism. I don't get it. So we buy crap all time. You know what's really interesting? Think about this. Our grandparents, and we can go back to our great-grandparents, when houses were built back in the turn of the 20th century, the 1900s, you would typically have your bedroom, your kitchen, a place to eat, small bathroom, and that was it. Many of the houses never had closets. Why? Because people didn't have a lot. You made do with what you had. And that's why, workmanship, craftsmanship around the world, and all the different alchemies, disciplines of that, whether it be blacksmithing, carpentry, whatever it was, stonework, clothing, was that you actually had quality material. And you didn't have much of it. Neither did a whole lot of other people. And so with most houses, you could literally fit the whole family. And let's just say a family was the standard unit of 4. Actually, it was back in those days, it was more 3s, 4s, 5s. But isn't that amazing? And today, one of the largest industries, you may not know about this, is the storage industry. Why? Because Americans got so much crap. They got so much crap that even with the larger closets, the added spaces for storage, we have to find places to store the storage. And we want to know why our lives are so cluttered up here, in here. It's because the clutter is all out here. True. Then you're not taking it with you either, baby. So why do we do this? I don't know. Why? Because we serve a God of materialism. Now, I don't know if this God be male, female. It may be it. I don't know. But I know it's alive and well. It seems to be very cohabitable with the other gods. I don't know. Maybe they're getting a cut. I don't know. But nevertheless, it's everywhere. Seriously. And I just wonder. I don't know about you, but we got to change, folks. I keep saying that. And the change that has been spoken about thus far hasn't changed anything. And it gets me to think all the time. What is it about the mortal life? You got, the Bible, which I studied diligently for decades and decades and decades. And, I look at this book, I still keep it. This book is almost 40 years old. Yeah. worn out. Pages have got more notes on it. I mean, in one sense of the word, it's a reflection of my life. I learned a lot from it. I learned a great deal of wisdom from it. But sadly, there was not full disclosure made. And that's the problem with religions. I mean, in general, they don't give you full disclosure up front. And they should. You know, you typically find out after you're in and you're going, what? Wait a minute. You just told me it was just to do this, and now I got that. And that's where it really starts getting crazy. And I often thought, is that the thing about mortal life? Have you ever thought about the fact that you are a mortal in a life? Throughout the pantheons of the gods, we find stories of humans, mortal man, being granted the access to become immortal. And isn't it odd that when you look at Greek mythology, Egyptian, I mean, go all the way back, yet that's the same thing that's in the Bible. The same thing. Perseus, when he was granted, it's the same thing. Enoch, he was granted immortality. Elijah, he was granted immortality. You see where this goes? Ezekiel was granted immortality. It's the same story, just bent from monotheism to polytheism. That's how it works, folks. It's the same story. They just changed the characters. It's the same play. You just got a different cast, a different bill. And so they modified their story. So mortal life. So is mortality. It means there's a definite beginning and a definite end. That's what it means to be mortal. But is that so bad? I mean, everybody wants to be immortal in a mortal body. We'd all love that. Or I don't know, maybe. I don't think so. For some of us, you like get to the point, it's like, okay, I had enough of this crap. Yeah. I mean, it's great to be alive. And, you can dance, you can sing. And many of you who were gotten here a little bit early, maybe you chanced listen to Brewer and Shipley. Yeah, it's great. It's great to be alive. The spirits, they dance with us. They sing with us. I think it's when we get depressed, you have a lot of depressing spirits around you. When you're crying and what have you, I think you got spirits that cry, love to cry. I mean, I think it's crowded. I really do. I got this sense it's not in this vast cosmos of, this wasteland. Maybe initially, I think that 23 seconds between what I call physical death and then true death, maybe many of us are living out our preconceived realities, our preconceived notions of what the afterlife is. 23 seconds, remember, can be 23 billion epochs. Could really just, you never know. A second can seem like an eternity. We've talked about this. But think about it. Spirits everywhere. And I got a sense that some of these bastards really like materialism. I mean, I really do. And the reason why I say this, because in that construct of materialism, consumerism, however you want to, it's an ism. And anytime that something has an ism to them, that means they want to be inside me, you. So materialism, I think they dig it because I don't know. Do there seem to be more unhappy people at this time of year? Yeah. I tell you, folks, we got an opportunity just to let people know that the greatest gift that they could ever receive is learning just to be them. And it's not becoming a porch pirate. It's not feeding off another living essence. I don't know where those people go. All I got to say is I hope they get enlightenment soon, because we got to do this, folks. It's getting weird out there. But the mortal life, a lot of fringe benefits with it, though, isn't it? I think there is. How many of us love, after you've been working out, let's say doing yard work, maybe exercising, whatever, and come in and get a hot shower? Oh, come on. The feeling of a hot shower, I think for mortality, I don't think the spirits can feel it. I don't know, maybe they can. I don't see a line of showers. How do I know? I haven't been over there, so I could be completely wrong on that one. But yeah, a hot shower. Nothing better than that. Here's another one. Mortality. Eating a piece of chocolate. I've actually had the impression given into my spirit of other spirits around me salivating. And I chuckle and I say, well, hey guys, I'm doing this for all of us. Taste. Being mortal, the mortal life. I mean, we're so often taught that the things of the flesh, those are bad. I don't know. A mortal life. I think it's kind of cool. I mean, pain, we know what that's like. You ever burn yourself? Yeah. It doesn't take you long to figure that one out, right? But yet it's the mortal life. Putting freshly PJs on. Yeah. How about one that right out of the dryer? Yeah. Yeah. Nothing like getting into a fresh set of sheets, right? I mean, you just get in there, You kind of just get yourself that little spot. Yeah. I mean, you coffee drinkers, how many of you look forward to the first thing in that morning for that cup of coffee? I mean, it's Elysium, the same thing. I like gloves. New bed sheets. Yeah, that's kind of cool. Blazing River, I agree. Pain is what keeps us alive. And I don't think listen, I know this sounds a little odd, but I think it's over there in the spiritual realm as well. Whatever the next realm is, I contend, and that's just me, this is where I'm getting all my meditation. I keep on seeing this. This physical realm that we're in is only one type of physicality. Only one type. I think there's many different types of physical. I really do. Now, this is the only one I remember. But that I would agree with you on that. Yeah, Bobby, tea is my thing as well. I really do. It's that flavors, that ambrosia, right? I remember as a kid reading about Olympus and how the gods loved their ambrosia. And, as a child, you put all sorts of imagery to the words you're hearing. And I often thought ambrosia. And I've heard the term, I've had it as an ambrosia salad. There's an ambrosia drink. It just makes you think about this. A mortal's life. It's not that bad. And we certainly cling to it. And again, there must be something special about it because the spirits hang around us. I find that odd. I mean, seriously, it's really odd to me that what? What is it that you guys want? are are they all voyeurs? Is that what we're dealing with here? But immortal life, I think it's got great advantages. Why we have it. And you youth, listen, folks, I heard it when I was in my 20s, but I'm serious. You've got to relook at what you're going through. Don't get caught up in the whole corporate game, the whole got to get more stuff. I think really maybe the goal is to find that balance and stay in it. To be 20, I wouldn't want to be 20 again. Listen, if it was offered to me, no, my body stays young. It's great. But there's certain advantages about the aging process. But getting back to you folks, and we have a lot of 20-somethings here, a lot of 30s, 40s. You know, it's not about the biggest car. It's not about how many presents you have under the tree. It's really about learning about your journey. And the energy, what we call the loved ones around us, the other energies that we interact with each day. I'll share something with you because this is not your normal Sunday morning. I had to run an errand yesterday morning and required me to go more into Denver proper. And did what I had to do and was coming back home. And as I was sitting at the stoplight, it was still early, there was a man walking across the street. Now, in this case, the street I was on is 3 lanes in each direction, and then it was at a major intersection. It was very obvious that he had some sort of neurological problem, just the way that he was walking. And as I was sitting there, my thoughts went, I don't know that spirit. I don't know how he got to where he was or is at. I knew nothing about him where he stood on views of life, death, his own life, how he sees life. But yet, here we are, him and I, he never probably even saw me. I didn't exist. And most of the people that were around me probably didn't see him either. But there was that moment of where and he didn't connect to me, I connected to him. And for a second there, I began to see multiple dimensions of reality. Him and I shared a slice of reality only as far as my perception. His was not mine. I don't exist in his reality. And it got me to thinking how often that is the case for all of us. It's a wild ride, this thing called immortal life. And it's filled with so much pain, sadness, grief. But I almost think that those are requisites in order to enjoy the finer moments of life. And I think we all have them. That gentleman who appeared to be homeless to me, I don't know. He's in a mortal life, as I am, as you are, as we all are. Very, very interesting, isn't it? Very good point, Blazing River. What if he was thinking the same thing? Yeah. Again, I don't even think he even looked over that way, but he was obviously in his world. It's It's empathy, folks. And what I was trying to get to, that was an exercise in empathy. And if you can start exercising more of that empathy, it's going to lead to more telepathy. But I'm still trying to figure out, does thought produce a sound? It's got to do something. One would think. Emperor Rex, that's interesting. Homelessness is freedom. There's been a number of studies done on this, and there's just a number of people who I think have just gotten tired of it. I don't know if they've gotten tired of life. I think they just got tired of the rat race. It's the axioms that says, the rat, forget the cheese. Just get me out of the trap, the maze. I want out of this. And, the happiest people that I have met in my life, and the happiest of times as well, is when you don't have to worry about all the crap. Isn't that what we all seek? Isn't that really the gift of freedom? I love to, people call it work. To me, it's actually pursuing what I'm good at, a craft, a trade. It used to be in a time in the mortal life. And it got me to thinking even more. So I really enjoy the Lord of the Ring trilogy. And then the subsequent, the Hobbit series. And I really love those books. If you read them, it'll carry you off to a place that I often wonder, is there such a place as Middle Earth? Some say that we are Middle Earth. I don't know. But I often wonder, is there something maybe under the earth? Zora, I just call your dad forth. Well, we just speak favor to your dad. Can you tell me his name? It helps for me when I actually have a name. So we're going to see what your dad's name is, Zora. Just put that there for us. And we're just going to speak favor to his body, to every organ of his body. And though he's dealing with the esophagus, we're going to speak favor to that esophagus. Listen, there's a lot of healers here. There's a lot of distant healers, psychic healers. Well, Bill, I just speak to you, Bill, in the spirit realm. And Bill, all right, Bill. Bill, we just speak favor to you. We speak favor to your spirit, that the energy increase and transmute into the body, and that the cells that have been running rampant, they cease. And the ones that are to be begin to dominate there. So, Bill, we just speak favor to you, my friend. This group, there's well over 380 plus people here. So, Bill, we're thinking about you. When we speak favor, may there be nothing missing, nothing broken in your life, my friend. Yes, may that which has been stolen, taken from you, be returned sevenfold. So, Bill, favor to you, my friend. Yeah. So, yeah, it's true. Stephanie, I'm glad you said that. I don't like being around crowds anymore. This is a rock and roller, it's like far out. But I find that it's weird. It's like you're almost picking up energy from every person you're encountering now. At least that's how it is for me. It's sometimes really weird. It's almost like you're in a spatial temporal distortion. You're welcome, Zora. You let us know, all right? Seriously. Bill, way to go, buddy. So I think about this. You know, in the Lord of the Ring trilogy, as everyone knows, the quest was to get the ring destroyed, go back to evil. You know, that was the central point. But all the different life forms, the orcs, you know, elves, you know, do they exist? Was that just merely a fantasy of a person channeling a story? I often wonder if sometimes our planet has jumped. Does that make sense? I don't know. It's a little hard to verbalize, but I mean, I've met a lot of different beings when I used to do a lot of spelunking. I mean, there's life forms down in these caves that people wouldn't even think. I have been to Calaveras County up in California in the giant redwoods. I've seen what they call the forest people, the fairies. So it leads me to believe that maybe there's something more here than what we realize. I don't know. A mortal's life. Maybe the ability of a mortal to be able to interact with those which we would call immortal is the fact that we had the experience of the mortal life. And maybe that's what attracts us afterwards. I don't know. I'm a hermit. Yeah, you really go out. Well, planetary I can think no pixies existed like dinosaurs. Their time has passed. Well, you know, Sean, there is a certain thing to that passage. You know, that is how the word is designed. It's the passage of a time, past age. So makes you think, though, what about us? We are, by that definition, we are in the past age right now. Wonder what that's going to leave for us. I often wonder what people 1,000 years from now will look back at us and go, what were they thinking? And that's exactly the point. Well, folks, this has been fun. I missed Jeff, and I'm sure, hopefully, he's listening. And but yeah, great time to be alive, folks. No matter what, it is your time to be alive, and that's what's so cool. Hello, Sue G. How are you doing? And Brian, good to see you. Jill, good to see you. Anti-popular girl, love it. David, Lisa, good to see you. Kenneth. So $250,000 a ticket to go to space. Well, I'll guarantee you this, when you die, you'll get one for free. So Wayne, I gave a reading to a lady this week, and she spoke with Tree Woman. Very emotional. Patrick, we're going to please share that with us. Tuesday, we'll be doing our show, Talking with the Planets with Patrick Garrett. Tomorrow, our show is with the physicist and philosopher. Strange things going on. Lots of things. Hello, Adam. How are you doing? Good to see you. Way to go. Warrior Queen. I love this. So, well, thank you. You guys brighten up my day. You edify me. I think that's what we try to do here on Sundays, is get y'all thinking, a little controversy. I won't give you my take on the nativity birth, but maybe one day I'll put it in a book because it's not quite the same thing. Hello, True Helper. How are you doing? Good to see you. Mary Wins, hello. Good to see you. Scott Shouts Hat, hello. Y'all are just the best. Thank you. You know, to me, when we get together, it's like, I'll use the cliche, it's Christmas every day. All right. I know that was cheesy. I get it. I get it. But seriously, y'all have just enriched my life. And heck, I like being around you folks. Isn't that wonderful? I think it's pretty cool. So hopefully do the same. Hey, go over there in Jeff's channel. Let's get him over to 30,000. The rest of you, Brian over at Milky Way Weekly. Brian, I know you had a show last night. I don't know if you got one tonight. Brian and I are going to do a show. I'm going to get him on. I'm going to be on his channel as well. And we're going to be talking about the feathery serpent. So a lot of good stuff there. Dancing Waves. Oh, I love that. Dance on Waves. How cool a name. That's a great handle. That invokes the song Van Morrison, Wavelength. If you haven't heard it, go and check it out. Kato 9, thank you. Falcon 44, Donna Bell, good to see you. Sabrina, thank you. Terry Brown, all of you folks, y'all are the best. Go out, have fun today. Laugh. Laugh. If you're sick, if illness, divided peace is attacking you, and I know it's hard, but try to start laughing. Now, that's hard to do if your throat hurts like a razor blades are swallowing. I get that. But try to be happy. And then when you try, you will. All right. I love you folks. Y'all are the best. Beautiful smiles. I see that smile. Y'all are the best. All right, have a good one. We'll talk real soon. Thank you for gracing us. We'll see you next Sunday, probably over on Jeff's channel. The Christian Whistleblower. Got to get that right. This is sometimes the way it is. All right, folks, be good. See you later. All right, bye-bye. And favor I invoke on every one of you. Now enjoy it. See ya.